I mean, frankly, that's exactly why I'm doing this podcast, is because I know that all the awesome things that you've done, and that's really what the goal of this podcast is to highlight people that have done stuff that people have seen or interacted with, but they might not actually know the person who's behind it. And you have been behind so many amazing things. You're in front of something that's behind you that looks amazing. Uh, your work always knocks me out in terms of like how you organize people, because it's not just you also organize people. Like, you're pregnant and you recreated the Beetlejuice strip club in your backyard.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh can you talk to me about how that project started and what the process was like?
That was, we were just getting vaccinated. Delta wasn't out. I wasn't pregnant. And we just thought, fuck it, we're going to have this huge raging party and celebrate, these horrific years that we've been going through. So that's how we started with that. And then we picked the Beetlejuice theme, and we started realizing how well it collaborated with our house, because it is kind of based in an old Victorian house. So originally it was going to go through our home and be in our living room and in different rooms and outside. But when Delta became a thing, we realized we had to push it outside. And so we put more emphasis definitely on Dante's Inferno, which that is Daniel Silva. That is not me, who built this amazing thing. He did it on the computer first, and everybody chipped in and helped, but he's really the one that engineered that. I just got him money and paint and extra hands, but I cannot take credit for that. He did it for sure.
But it's in your backyard.
And I'm actually in it right now. So this is the Tiki Bar inside of Dante's Inferno.
Can you, well, it might be kind of a tough subject to talk about, but actually, I think it's still an important subject to talk about and what it means, frankly. Can you talk about what the bar means to you specifically and why it was built?
Yeah, Tiki Bar is a memorial to my best friend, Michael Aiello, who I lived with for 10 years here, almost 10 years. And he recently passed away about 2 years ago. A Tiki Bar was our last intended project. I knew that he was getting sick, and I started to think of stuff that would kind of cheer him up, or projects, that he would like doing. And he was really big into mid-century modern and that whole kind of 50s culture. Tiki's really big in that. And so we were notorious for bickering about projects all the time. And this was one of the ones that I was like, I'm not going to fight him on it. I really don't know anything about Tiki. He's more the expert. I was going to just kind of sit back and help. So we started drawing this bar out, and then he got really sick. But we continued to plan it out even when when he was in the hospital. And, I started to realize oh shit, I'm going to have to do this without him. And it was never supposed to be a Pee-wee mashup. It was supposed to be just a straight Tiki Bar. When he passed, he just had this amazing collection, the Pee-wee bike that's behind me. He left me that. And just all these amazing toys and art. And I disobeyed his last wishes. He really wanted me to get rid of everything except for the things that were on this list that he gave to people. And I couldn't do it. And I also didn't feel like his friends wanted to do that, and his parents. So I decided to make this space so that he, all of his things are in it. And it's actually set designed a lot like his room, which was a really interesting project when you think I'm set designing my dead best friend. This is how his TV was set up, with little trophies and his little candy dishes. I did it exactly the way he did it. This wall painted like this was painted like that in his room as well. He copied things from the Playhouse, and then I copied his room into this space. So it was, I think it was really healing too, because it gave all of the friends and the family a place to come and work on it together while we were like heavily grieving, because we started this project probably about a month after he passed. It was pretty quick. So, you know, it was a way for us to kind of go through his things and share memories and just be together instead of being alone and separate, suffering and missing him. It was like we got to hang out and laugh and share our Michael stories. So I'm really proud of the way that, you know, just that experience turned out. And then, you know, the bar, when you walk in here, you don't need to know that it's a memorial. But if, you know, if I feel like telling people, like, by the way, this is actually my, you know, my really close friend's memorial space, like, you know, it kind of, sometimes it ruins the vibe. Sometimes people are really appreciative of like, oh, thanks for sharing that. Like, that makes it really special. It's just so fun and playful. You wouldn't think of like, this is kind of like a sad tribute. But
Yeah, it's hard to have the juxtaposition of being something that makes you feel like you're in Pee-wee's Playhouse mixed in with the bittersweetness of knowing that you lost a close creative friend.
yeah,
I think it's really important to note as well is that like how important he was in your life, not just as a friend, but also as a creative influence in your life as well. Because y'all lived together and y'all transformed your house, which is lovingly nicknamed the Haunted Mansion. Um, I think every single time I visited your place, it's looked different. The very first time I ever visited your house, your hallway was like the hallway for the Fratellis from the Goonies with all the wood planks and everything. Your kitchen had a drawbridge which led out to a pirate ship.
yeah,
And you had a pirate ship in your backyard. And then you also had in the bar where you're at now, kind of, sort of, maybe not exactly the same place, but
same way.
Oh, it is okay. You had One Eyed Willie's Pirate Bar, which, as far as like knowing that that was just in your house and the level of visual fidelity that y'all can achieve in however many months it takes you to do, just always blows me away. Like your work and the work that you do with and how you empower others to work with you, it always impresses me and blows me away.
You know, yeah. I mean, honestly, that was all Michael. I didn't know any set design before I met him, so he was a stickler about detail and authenticity. And if I did something that was like cheap and half-ass, he would let me know and he would ring me for it until I fixed it. And I used to hate him for some of that stuff because I would just be like, oh, I just have to get it done. But he was always right. I don't know if you can hear me saying that right now. But Michael, yes, you were right about a lot of things. And I'm glad that he pushed me to that limit. And, you know, he told me even like with my costumes, he could tell, I'm going to say this, like, you know, when you have somebody else who's a creative artist, who's your friend, and they just know when you've half-assed something, or you've rushed it, or you could have done better. And he always called me out on it. And I just couldn't slip things past him, where maybe to like someone who's not have, you know, doesn't have a trained eye would just be like, that's amazing. And it was still good, but Michael knew I could do better. And so he would really push me. And I carry that, I carry that with me with every project. You know, I know when I've quit too early or I haven't done the extra step that it really needed to, you know, make it something way more special and creative. So yeah, that's all Michael. He taught me well. And I just, I try to carry that on because yeah, I don't want to lose all of that knowledge that he taught me. It definitely lives within me.
Is there any particular moment or project where um, he really pushed you and maybe you were again annoyed at him at the moment, but Is there a particular like time when that happened that really sticks with you?
I mean, they're like really little stupid things that like I think one when we were first building, well, we did a Nightmare Before Christmas party, and we are building this like Oogie Boogie's tunnel that you would have to go into, and I wanted to do it like just out of plywood, and you would go into that, and then he was like, no, it needs to be individual slots of wood that are all put together and each painted separately, and I was like, God, that's gonna take forever, and but he was right. When we're done with it, it just looked so much better. Yeah, there we go. That's our tiki. That was the blacklight bar we did, and then we just fight over stupid stuff too. For that Goonies thing you're talking about, the One-Eyed Willie, we literally fought over about like 5 inches of where his height should be, where the skeleton should be. That thing, yes, that. We got a huge fight over that. Felt like for me it was a cross between it is Goonies, but it was a little nod to Pirates of the Caribbean because like there's that scene where the pirate is like on the gold, and as a kid I always just wanted to like jump, off the boat and like go play in the gold. So it was like kind of my little recreation and nod to that. And he wanted it lower, and I was like, it just wouldn't look epic if he's down here. He needs to be up here. And literally, Michael was so mad at me, he almost walked off and didn't help me for the rest of Halloween. Like, we had a huge fight over something that stupid.
Yeah, I thought it looked great, but I'm a little biased because I used it for a photo shoot. Oh, sorry, it cut off for a second. Can you say that again?
Yeah, I remember that. That's Olivia.
Yep.
Yep.
It was a fun shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So again, thank you for sharing that. I know it's a tough subject to talk about, but I think it's really important, and it shows that it takes a village, and I think it's really inspiring too that that you've really taken on yourself to teach in the way that Michael taught you, and with all these projects that have been happening, like with this specific bar, that's really when I saw you like really go out of your way to teach people. Like my friend Natalie flew to you to go like learn under you, and she learned so much from you. And so I think it's really awesome that you're taking Michael's spirit on and kind of doing the things that he did for you, for others.
Yeah. I mean, Michael was really stubborn and he didn't like a lot of people. So, I mean, I think it kind of did this funnel from like his knowledge to me, and then I spread it out because he was tough to deal with for other people, and he just didn't let people in. But once he did, he was fiercely loyal. And so I think it was a good combination between the two of us because I was the more social one. I was the one really excited to interact with other people and, share, where he's like kind of wanted to keep it to himself. He didn't really care about that kind of stuff. He did it because he just wanted to like own it. So like if he made a prop, like say Pee-wee's bike, it had nothing to do with him getting praise or money. He just wanted to have it. Like I think he had a different motivation than I did when like I don't like recreating, even though we keep doing it. The truth is I don't like recreating other people's work a lot of the time because it already exists. But I do like the challenge of like adapting it. So like, Nightmare for Christmas is like that's a miniature set. So we had to make it life size, and how do you, kind of adapt those things. But getting off topic. Anyways,
No, it's still on topic because we're still talking about all the awesome things you've done.
Yeah, thanks. But I like collaboration because I think when you get to a certain point of being an artist, in the beginning you're sort of faking it and you don't know what you're doing and you're kind of insecure and you don't want people copying you, and then once you've done a few things and like there's a confidence that comes with your age and your knowledge and your experience that you're like, I don't need to hoard this all to myself. And I'm totally fine now saying, like, when I don't understand something, when I don't know how to do something, and there are tons of other people who are way more talented than me at building and painting. And I'm like, if I can hone their craft and we put it all together and work as a team, like, I'm not a one-man show. Like, I need help. So I like taking people's talents and making them feel like they're part of something bigger than all of us. And also, if somebody doesn't know anything, like teaching them new tricks, like that's a really, I don't know, it's a fun way to just like make friends and share your experience with somebody.
God forbid. Can I tell you a story that I've never told you before about Michael?
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I might cut this in case it sucks, but I'm gonna tell you anyway because I want to, because I haven't told you.
Oh.
So on the night that I met you, which was doing that Buny shoot, you were offering that set to photographers to use for photo shoot, whatever, with a donation in mind. And as a add-on was having Michael help out with the lighting.
Okay.
So I showed up with Olivia, and because I saw the photos and I was like, oh, it looks like it's really lit up, really cool. I'm expecting Michael to just, be in there and like move lights around and be like, oh, is this good, whatever. So we go out to the backyard and you're like, all right, I'm going to go back inside. Michael will take it from here. And so he just kind of stood there. I'm like, so what are we doing? He's like, I don't know. What are you doing?
Oh God.
And then, so I'm like, okay. So I just moved my lights around. And then by the time I was done moving my lights around, he had disappeared back into the house and never came back.
Yeah, that's
But I didn't mention anything because I was like, oh, whatever, it's fine. But I was laughing about it because I was annoyed at the time. But every time I've heard stories about Michael, and now that I know really who he is and how he was, like, it just seems like, yeah, that's just who he is.
he was a butthole. Like, he was stubborn and he was not a people pleaser. Like, he didn't care. He didn't really want to be there. I don't know how to explain it, but on top of it, he also, like, everybody wanted to be his friend, and he's just like, I don't know. It was weird. Like, sometimes I'd be jealous of just like, how are you so cool and you're not even really trying, and you suck. Like, you're totally mean. But yeah, sorry. Wait, did you have to? So you paid for his services, and that's what he did?
Yeah, but I mean, it was going to you guys, and there's not a dollar wasted with you guys, so there was no reason for me to make us think about it. I just thought it was really funny after the fact because I'm like, all right, whatever. He's just gonna be a weirdo. And then now that every story I've heard after that about like who he is as a person, I'm like, if I was if that was my personality, I would have just sulked off in the dark into the darkness as well when nobody was looking. Like, I'm pretty sure he slowly backed away from me when I wasn't looking, which I think is hilarious.
Yep, that sounds about right. He did that. Yeah, I would always have to explain like why he was my friend sometimes because they're like, "What is the deal with that dude?" And I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, once you get him, you just like you fall in love with him, and he's just like, I mean, he really was super loyal. It just took forever to get through that barrier, and yeah, I've never had a friend like him, and I'll never have a friend like him ever again. I know that.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me, and thank you for indulging my Michael story.
That's funny. It's doesn't surprise me.